Okay, we'll line up. We'll bow in. Go through a few warm-ups. All right, ready? Hey, John, you want to come up? You can step up. Ready? Bow. Salute. Okay. Ready? First exercise, hands up, feet shoulder width. Turning. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse, other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center cross, knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Okay, hands in your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Rotating. Circular movements. 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Pull in, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, stretch it out. Turn. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, shoulder roll. Reverse. And center. Okay, press, release, exhale, inhale. And center. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, silk really. Oh, did we forget the wrist ones? Okay. Okay, we'll go back. Step back. And reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. Okay, one more set. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Side to sides, shift. center. Okay, center. Up and down. Okay, switch. And center. Okay. Swing the arm, swing the leg. Switch. And center. Side to sides. Switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Silk grilling now. Switch. Open and close. Switch. Okay, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Lower, palms down. Extend. breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Diagonal flying. Switch. Sana. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity. Form the fist. palms together. Turn, draw the bow. Fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll go through the sequence. Want to shift around a little? Actually, we can step up a little bit. Too tight in there. Yeah, yeah. Because I have all this space. I don't need all this space. Okay. Ready? Preparation. Short form. breathing. Okay, go through the sequence long. We can shift this way a little if you want. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Okay. Preparation begin. First instep kick. Second instep kick. Turn 180. Left heel kick. Brush knee right side. Second brush knee. Left side. Step through. Twist step, step up. Planting punch. 180-degree turn. Parry and punch. Step up. High pat the horse. Pivot twist. Open the stance. Cross behind. Go to the oblique corner. Beat the tiger. Right side, stroke down, turn. 180-degree turn, rear corner. Beat the tiger. Turn back toward the mirror. In the side. Cross your arms. Right heel kick. 2 punches to the ear. Sit back. Fold your arms. Parting leg. Left side. 360 pedal step. Fold. Right parting leg. Stroke down. Parry and punch. Form the fist. Step up. Punch. Divert. Block and punch. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Carry tiger to the mountain. Cross hands. Oblique brush knee right side push. Left side 180-degree turn. Oblique brush knee left. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Turn back to the front, single whip. Hold and reverse the ball. Diagonal flying. Right side. Sit back, stroke down. Pot the horse's mane right side twice. Step up, left side, pot the horse's mane. Step up again. Pot the horse's mane 2 more times. Cross corners to the left. Jade lady work, shuttle left. Pivot, cross step and turn. Right side, Jade lady work, shuttle. Pot the horse's mane. Cross corner, going to your left. Jade lady work, shuttle left. Sit back, pivot, turn. Cross step, step up, right side. Jade lady work, shuttle. Stroke down. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrist, turn to the front, single whip. Second set of cloud hands. turn, pivot, snake sticks out tongue, capture, pull down, step up, golden cockroach stands on one leg right side, step, kick and poke, left side golden cockroach, and repulse the monkey. Carry tiger to the mountain. Open the stance. Hold the ball. Shift, diagonal flying. Shift, step up. Press forward, step up. Raise the hand. Bend from the waist, stalk flaps wings. Toe heel pivot. Brush knee, right side push. Sit back. Insert the needle. Fan through the back. Turn, stroke down. Parry and punch. Step up, form the fist. Divert, block, and punch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Single whip. Third set of cloud hands. Hold the ball. Single whip. Pivot and turn. Palm strikes face. Turn. Single lotus. Left side brush knee and push. Sit back. Step up. Punch down to crotch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists. Single whip. Second downward posture, snake sticks out tongue. Pull down, invert the hands, step up to 7-star, retreat, ride the tiger, left palm strikes face, sit back and turn, double lotus kick, draw bow to shoot tiger, step up, palm strikes face, turn, parry and punch, step up, high pat the horse, step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists to single whip. Hold the ball. Reverse the ball. Diagonal flying right. Close the form. Retreat. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Okay, we always have a open session. We can work on some parts of the form of drills. Any questions? Starting with John, because he's always. Oh, okay, John. He's always good. We always can count on John. It's so quiet when you're not here on Saturdays. Okay, the golden cockroach. Yeah, 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 yeah. Kick and strike at the same time. Yeah. So when you're here, you step down, press and poke, and then you come to here. Yeah, yeah. So when we do these movements, you have to have a basic understanding of the functional side of the movement. So a golden cockroach, okay, this is snake sticks out tongue. We capture the arm, we invert the arm, we kind of pull down, and then we come up into crosshand position. And if you were to intercept an arm, you would pull back, push out, and deflect, right? Then on the way down, this comes down to press. You're going to poke to draw the attention there, then you kick there, then you pull back. So all those, these are, when arms are in this position, is essentially sort of a lifting high block or a deflection. When you press down, covering hand, pressing, that's taking something that's coming into your space and you're turning it like this. When you thrust out like this or thrust out like this, that's a poke. You know, usually it's a defensive move. So when you press and poke and you press and poke, that's essentially what happens on both sides. So if I go like this, go like this. So we target our center line as a guide, as a reference point, because generally, taking it into the consideration that Tai Chi is a martial art. Tai Chi is sort of the abbreviated name for Tai Chi Chuan or Tai Get Kun. It means Tai Chi fist. It means the grand ultimate fist. So that's how the interpretation of it. When you press and poke, you direct it to the center line because you figure that anything that's going to be assaulting you or going into your space would be going into your target areas, your chest or the torso area, the head, and the waist or the stomach area. So naturally your hands would want to protect this space. So we have the middle gate, the lower gate, and the upper gate. So we look at movements like press, like this. That's really center gate horizontal. When we step up to here, we went to lower gate position, lift and pass through center on the oblique to a high block position. Okay, so there's where the positions come into play as reference point, but there's, it doesn't matter what style, they always say low, middle, and high, right? It could be karate, it could be kung fu, could be whatever. Your hands can either go high, middle, or low. Those are, we call them gates or doors. So that's just a term to reference a space. Covering is down. Rising is lifting. Vertical, right to left, is deflection. So in cloud hands, we have these vertical hand movements. Then we have these vertical hand movements like this. So everything in Tai Chi is circular, right? So circular movements can be created by, an isolated motion. In other words, if I bring my hand across my body like this, that's going from this side to this side. If I take my hand like this and I go this way and this way, then it's crossing the body going the opposite way. So outside to inside, inside to outside. That's essentially what's happening. So if you imagine something coming at you and your hand is down here, this is your middle block. If you studied karate or any other style, you would know that. In kung fu, this is a middle block, and this is a middle block. If you go like this, like wiping your face, that's crossing over from this side to this side to this side to this side. So that we have these movements in the form. They're kind of camouflaged in there, but can you see kind of the action and the movement? So just to set up a sample, cloud hand goes this way. So that's going from outside across to the other side. So that's protecting your center. Now you can't really, unless your arms are already here, it doesn't work like this. It doesn't work like this unless you're in that position. If your hand's in a position other than when they're elbow down vertical, like when we do this, then you have to create the motion, right? So when do we have a position like this? Anybody recognize this position? Huh? No, that's Jen Jiang. He's gone to another style. How about this? This is, okay, Maria, how about this? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Where'd that come from? So that's, so in Kung Fu, this is called, the beautiful maiden looking at the mirror. That's what, this is the mirror. This is the maiden looking at the mirror. So this just they use these names to describe with emotion. So that's the camouflage, the movement, or like hide the action, so your opponent doesn't know what you're doing. If someone said, "Okay, use the, beautiful maiden looking at the mirror," you wouldn't know what that meant. The guy throws a punch and you use this. That's all it is. So your hands are going across your body like this. Now, in cloud hands, we're moving like this. So that gives you a direction of motion. Okay, so this is going from here to here, right? If you put your hand on the shoulder, it gets to this shoulder, there's a vertical action going to right or left. Now, if I take my hands like this, I go to 45-degree corner, and I go like this, and I go like this, I cross my center, right? So if something comes into my space and I cross my hand like this, that shows you that I can defend the center. So where does that happen? How about this? Right, that's brush knee. So in the sense, cloud hands goes this way, brush knee goes this way, you see. So the continuity of movement is when I brush like this, then this hand's going to strike, this hand's going to block, this hand's going to block, and it's push. If I step back like this, that's cloud hands going backwards. This is cloud hands going to the side. So your movements can tie into directional motions depending. So when we go to the side, side step. When we go forward, advance step, advancing forward. Backwards is retreating. So we have retreat and repulse the monkey. We had advancing and brush knee, advance and grasp the sparrow's tail. So that's called step up. Step back is the retreat. So it's footwork going directionally. So not only do the hands go forward and back, right to left, your feet go forward and back, right to left, and it goes to the oblique. When you cross corners and you move, that's sidestepping. So, why footwork is so important is because when we practice our movements in form and we sit back and we cross, or we sit back and retreat, that's teaching you how to shift your weight, control your center of mass, and build agility of footwork. So if you're studying or practicing this for prevention of age-related degeneration, practicing it for balance, practicing it for mobility, that's where you develop it, controlling your legs, right? So one of the things I talk about even in the Parkinson's class about direction and walking is you have to pivot your feet. You pivot your feet. So if you have trouble turning corners, you might be doing this. Especially you see sometimes, elderly people might turn like that because they don't have a natural sense of how to do it because they really haven't figured it out. But if you're doing this and you're doing this from your pivoting, then it's going to teach you a mechanism to get to another space. So we're doing this all the time. We're turning to that corner. We're turning to this corner. We're making turns. We're crossing and making U-turns to get, so, that teaches you the ability to be mobile and, functionality for that would be developing your footwork for just going from point A to point B. So it's much different from some disciplines that just hold positions that are stagnant, like planking. You lie on the floor and you hold this position. You stand on one leg for 20 minutes. These are all, just for body, strength and form. But it doesn't teach you mobility because you're not interacting your body as a relationship. We don't move like this, but we move like this. So that's why you build, motor skill is a sort of a wiring to your system and a programming of movement. Most people can't move most of their body because it doesn't know how. And it doesn't know how because it didn't know it needed to do it, right? So if you didn't need to do something like this or like this, your body wouldn't know that, right? So these muscles, this body form, this movement, it's foreign to the body unless you need it or think you need it. So when we do these forms, even though you don't think you need it, you're developing something that would be, beyond the average person. So flexibility, stretching. How many people stretch, you know, after they're 20 or 30 years old, unless they're into exercise? They don't. You don't bend, you don't do anything, right? You just kind of sit there and, then you say, well, gee, I can't do this. But because we do this, we stretch. You're training your body to understand how to release the tension in your musculature and how to let there be balance between contractions and, relaxation. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said to movement. I think movement's the most essential thing to life. It's, much more important than a lot of things that they do, like running and so forth, because this is really, building good circulation and building brain plasticity and building all the stuff that goes away when you stop using it. And aging is just it's a chronological thing in a sense, but aging, the body does go through a process even on the cellular level. But how can you try to prevent some of that from happening? One of it is moving, right? If you don't move, you lose it. If you don't use your brain, you lose it. You have to use your brain. You have to use because the mind and the body has to work together. And if it doesn't, there'll be problems, down the way. So they've only recently discovered, and this is an article that Eric sent me, about how movement is tied to relieving stress. So we talk about this all the time. So if I tell you that you did Tai Chi, it relieves stress, you would say, well, you just take it for granted that I'm telling you the truth, right? But actually, what they've discovered is that movement, especially in the axial section of the body, is tied to, a wiring to the adrenal gland, and that's the fight or flight gland that kind of creates the adrenaline that makes you kind of, in a defensive mode. So when you're stressed, what happens? You get kind of tense. If you're really stressed, you kind of hyperventilate. So it kicks into your automatic systems, and your body sometimes can't deal with it. But if you're moving, and the movement is essential, when it's wired to that gland, it takes away some of the times when you feel that stress. So because in a stress mode, it automatically will respond because it's tied together. If you move, and we're moving, all the things that we're doing, even though it's a stage beyond sequence, you have to move this. If you don't move this, if you don't twist your body, if you don't bend, you don't lift, you don't rise and fall, then your torso doesn't engage the musculature that allows you to straighten. It doesn't allow you to twist. So that's why planking, in a way, that holds you rigid. You know what planking is? Everybody know what planking is? You just lie there like this, and it's stiff as a board. So it does create tension in the body and strength. But the thing is, that's what you're training for, to be stiff and rigid. How can you move? Because it's already conditioned to do this. So a lot of times people will move their arms, but they can't move this. So even if you don't do planking, you just generally you're sitting in a chair, right, and you're working on your computer or whatever. Then you turn. Well, how do you turn? Your chair probably has wheels on it, and you wheel yourself around. So that's why some people that work, at home or wherever, they had that ball that people would sit on. That trains your body to be more responsive in a situation so you don't tip off the ball. And you have to turn, because if you don't turn, you can't use your core. You can't use your musculature. So, there's a lot of reasons why we need to move. The main thing is circulation. Movement, if you don't have movement, there's no circulation. The people understand, everyone understand that. And, like when your leg falls asleep and it's buzzed, it's because the circulation has been cut off. If you're bedridden and your legs start to swell, they have to put the pump on your legs to kind of, activate those muscles so that you get circulation. Because circulation and movement, it's a balance. When the muscles contract and causes the fluids to flow, there's a reversing of that through movement. Non-movement becomes something that's bad for your system. And, we only need thinking about sort of the blood, in the veins and the arteries, but we also have to think about our lymphatic system that's, that fluid in between, the interstitial fluid that has to flow through your body, that actually supports your immune system. So we don't move, all of that stuff becomes stagnant. And if it's stagnant, then it doesn't develop, and it's not using, building all the cellular stuff that needs to reinforce that. But then, what supports all of that after you move is nutrition. So you need good nutrition. That's why, you know, people are eating a lot better now than they did a few years ago. And that's because, the science is there as to why you need it. But the thing is, the science is there to make stuff that would just make you like to eat it. And that's really sort of the commercial side of food. Anyway. All right, so any other question? Did I answer that? Oh, okay. Okay. So let's do brush knee, all right? We're going to do brush knee as a drill. So I call this dosing. When you stand in a position like this, and this is, if you're like this and you kick your foot out like this and you go to square position. So by the way, this is how we kind of go from forward to back and pivot. So even though this is fairly simple to do, it's programming, turning, toe and heel relationships, and takes you back to square. So this measures your shoulder width stance. So you say toe-heel relationship. Why is toe-heel relationship important, Maria? Toe-heel relationship, why is it important? Get you on where you go, right? Mara, what's toe-heel relationship? Why is it important? So you can move. Maria, the other Maria. What's toe-heel? Why is toe-heel important? It makes you step. Pardon me? Control your movement, right? Because, well, the soles of your feet is our base. And if our base is just like a piece of wood, a block, you'd be like standing on stilts. But because the soles of our feet have lots of nerve endings and there's lots of bones in our feet, that means it's designed to be manipulated and moved. So when we shift our weight, the weight goes between the heels and the toes. And the toe sensory system sends feedback to your brain to let you know where you are, right? So when we shift our weight, it actually should go all the way through to the soles of your feet, and it goes all the way through from heel to toe and all throughout the soles of your feet, because when we step up, and now that's a pivot on the heel. When I shift my weight, I end up going to the toe. When I step through, I end up going to the heel. But when I'm on this heel and I sink down with my shin, then the pressure goes to the ball of my foot. So when I go forward and back and I toe out, and I go to the ball of the foot here, then that becomes the ball, the heel, ball, and heel. So that relation between the toe and heel is a constant, and that happens when you walk. That's kind of breaking it down for training so you can move the 6 joints in the lower half of your body. But when you walk, you actually toe, heel, and there's a action there. And between this and this is how we move. So that's how what we're developing. But what's involved there is really your ankle. Your ankle becomes very rigid if you don't use it. So when you sit and you bend, if your ankle doesn't release, then your shin doesn't go forward. If it doesn't go forward, then you have tension in, your calf and the muscle here, and what ends up happening is you become stiff. So mobility and agility comes from the ability to move your feet. Now we go in a single whip stance. The heel and toe relation is critical to keep the balance between the forward and back. So that's just an idea of why we do things standing. Yeah. Yeah, you're regulating direction of movement based on that. But here's the thing. If your hip is tight and you never turn it, right? So then you can't turn your foot. You end up doing this, or you're trying to move the whole body. It's because this becomes rigid. The shoulder joint and your hip joint are similar. They're ball and socket joints. They're both the most tense joints in your body because it's generally not used a lot. So people that don't lift their arms in a relaxed way end up hurting themselves when they move up. People that don't pivot their hips end up hurting their knees and their hip because so there's a lot of hip replacement because of the inability to use the hips, and a lot of knee problems because the hips are tight. So when you sit in the Tai Chi stance, even though the knee's here and it's misaligned, that you would think, but the thing is, if this is flexible, then you're actually not putting the stress on one joint. So all of this is habits that we created over the years and years of not using it correctly, because how do you know how to use it correctly? We don't, right? We find out the hard way after you injure it, and you say, oh, something went wrong. But we don't know what went wrong. We only know that it happened and something's not right. So all the wear and tear on our joints, why is it there's wear and tear on your joints? Because, there's, friction, misalignment, stress, balance not within the joint, because it's just, so if there isn't balance, something wears more than the other, right? So if we use our right hand more, it gets stronger. The left hand becomes a little less, astute, so that it doesn't have the same intelligence. But because we move both hands, and a lot of the times, so then you have some flexibility. We do this, we have range of motion from this. So you have to understand, we're not just doing this for the sake of doing it. We're doing it to manipulate our skeletal structure, increase the range of motion, work the ligaments and tendons that are in all the joints, because the ligaments and tendons are what allow us to align our body. If you don't line up these joints, then you can't really find out where we are. So I was saying, if we do this, the neutral position, and we do a brush knee movement, just like in the obliques, then we practice the timing, the phase within the motion. And this is just like in long form, the oblique or the oblique brush knee. You set up your hands and you turn. Here's a oblique brush knee. You set up your hands and you turn. And it teaches you the transition to go from vertical here to brush. We go to neutral, we go to horizontal, we sit back and we turn. The hands are set up. We brush and push. We sit back, we go forward, horizontal setup. So the horizontal and vertical positions are developed for right and left side transition. All right. So that's what we do typically, in the oblique brush knee. We only do it one direction. So you do it in both directions, then your feet will be familiar in turning. So you don't. That's just focusing on that movement. Then in the form, it's going to improve. Now the other way brush knee happens is that we're going forward and forward. So we're building the relationship between the toe, the heel, the turning of the body, and we're moving from one side to the other or to the other, depending on how we turn. If you do it enough, then when it's time to do a brush knee, you don't have to think about it, because we're creatures of habit. You do it over and over again, your body, it just becomes a response. And then, one thing has to happen for you to actually be conscious of the movements and track your movements correctly. You have to let the movement enter some sort of a subconscious sequential behavior, because there's a lot of things that are going on. Your body has to program this in for the sequence of events, and then you don't think about it. That's what happens when you develop a reflex action. These are voluntary actions that we program into the system that becomes part of an innate motion and a reflex. And what I mean by a reflex is that if something comes at you and my hand is here, how do you know to do that? It's timing. I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So movements become an action, and then that becomes an application. But you have to go through the process to know one. And then when you do this, you start to discover the other things that we talk about: right, left, center, forward, and backwards. So you don't need right, left, forward, and backwards to do just the form. Every posture has right, left, center, back, right? Right, left, center, forward, and backwards. If we do a brush knee like this, and then we go like this, and then we reverse the stance, essentially that's repulse the monkey. So you go forward, backward, so that it's just a different name in where it appears in the form. But essentially we're working with the triangle, the circle, and the square. We have a forward step, a backward step, a step to the right, step to the left, and we go to the corners, and the transitions happen. So we're working from the soles of our feet to the top of our head, controlling, every aspect of our body using, I call them the primary movers, which is these 12 joints: your neck, your sternum, and your mid-back. So those 15 areas of your body have to be moved, and those are just the big joints. There's tons of little joints around your body that actually are still engaged. So, when I talk about the ligaments and the tendons and the lining of your body and the balance and the principle and concepts that we're talking about, from substantial to insubstantial, roundness in the movement, folding and unfolding of your joints, all of these things become part of, everything that we do from the beginning of the form to the end. Yeah. So, but, along with this, you say, well, what's the purpose of a form? It houses all that information. What else does it house when you do a form that long? Because it takes 15 minutes to. How many people can do a series of movements consistently for 15 minutes without losing track of what they're doing? So it must be great sequential training, not just mentally. I call it the physical side of learning. When your body learns this, it builds tremendous information and understanding. So that information here translates into here. What it learns here goes back to here, and it's a constant, cycle, and that's how you discover. Does it make sense, John? Okay, good. Okay, they're saying we gotta leave. All right.